What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Let me go ahead and introduce to you this brand new product over here made by MovMagic. This is the Magician X5. So guys, starting off, to get you a little bit more familiar with the Magician X5, this is a 5.5 inch mobile live streaming video switcher, which is going to actually allow us to live stream directly from the switcher itself by connecting to a Wi-Fi signal network, or we can actually connect to our PC via the UVC output and now be able to live stream on OBS or vMix or any kind of software or platform that you want to live stream to. This is actually a touchscreen monitor, as well as being a high brightness at 1800 nits, which is fantastic. The X5 is a 2 HDMI input video switcher which can support up to 4K 60 frames per second. I will mention, please keep in mind that only one of those HDMI inputs is capable of supporting up to 4K 60 frames per second. The second HDMI input is capable of supporting up to 1080p 60 frames per second. And again, we can live stream up to 1080p 60 frames per second. The X5 also supports scoreboard graphics, so if we're going to be live streaming any sort of sporting event, we can go ahead and display the score right there during our live stream, which is a fantastic feature to see that it's actually built right in over here. The X5 also features a bunch of camera exposure tools, for an example like waveform, histogram, focus peaking, zebras, and vector scope. We have a bunch of these tools built in right over here, so not only is this a live streaming device, but we could also use it as a monitor. As far as our audio setup with the X5, it does support a microphone input or a line input, as well as being able to monitor the audio in real life time by simply plugging in a headphones, as well as we do have full control within the X5 menu settings to control all of our audio for each individual input. So the X5 does have a bunch of built-in transitions that we can go ahead and transition and cut between the two different inputs, as well as we can go ahead and change the duration and also the softness, etc., which is really nice, along with the picture-in-picture and all the layers and chroma keys. So it is really definitely jam-packed. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get a little bit more familiar with the Magician X5. So starting off with the actual display screen, which measures 5.5 inches. So let's go ahead and flip around this unit towards the back over here, which we do have several different connections. So starting off over here onto the left hand side, we do have the threads for the Wi-Fi antenna, so we can get a nice solid signal and connect to the Wi-Fi and stream directly from this device if we want to. Just next to that, we do have the USB-C UVC output. This is going to allow us to connect this device to our computer, so we do have the option of streaming directly from this device by connecting to Wi-Fi or sending it to our PC via UVC right over here. Just next to that, we do have an HDMI output, which is labeled as PGM, your program out. So this is another additional output via HDMI. Just next over here into the middle of the unit, we do actually have 1/4-20 threads, so we have an option to mount it, for an example, to like a tripod if we want to. Next over here, we do have 2 HDMI inputs. And finally over here to the far right hand side, we do have the DC 12 volt input, and we do have the cable included with the kit that's going to allow us to plug it into the wall and power this device. So overall, that is all the connections that we have here at the back of the device. If we actually go ahead and flip it around to having a closer look over here, you'll notice that we do actually have 2 slots for the MPF battery, so we can go ahead and power this device with either 1 MPF battery or 2 MPF batteries. So it's really nice that we can actually go ahead and hot swap. So for an example, if we do have 2 MPF batteries installed and maybe one of them dies or it's getting close to being dead, we can go ahead and actually leave one battery in while we remove and replace the other battery for continuous shooting. So that is really nice. We do also have these little locking mechanisms over here that's going to allow us to either install or take out the MPF battery. So if we go ahead and actually have a closer look over here at the back of the unit into the middle between the batteries, we do have these little ventilation grill, and behind that inside the device is a built-in fan. So we do have control of the fan within the menu settings. If we go ahead and turn the unit towards the top over here, we do actually have another 1/4 thread mounting option, which is nice. So we have one at the top and as well at the bottom over here. If we turn over the unit to the side, we do have a couple of buttons. So starting off onto the left, this is the power button. So just press and hold it for a few seconds to power on and off. So next over here, we do have these two function buttons labeled as F1 and F2, and these are actually going to control the volume to actually increase it or to decrease it. Here we have the headphone jack output, so we can go ahead and plug in our headphones and monitor the audio. And next over here, we do have a microphone input, which can either be assigned in the menu to a microphone input or as a line input. So if we go ahead and flip the unit all the way over to the other side, you will see that we actually do have an SD card slot over here. So this SD card slot is actually going to come in very helpful, so we can load our own images, our own videos, and also record to the SD card as well. So this SD card is definitely going to come out helpful, because therefore now you can actually back up and record your live stream to this SD card and play video files and images and logos. So guys, just to go ahead and quickly name off some of the additional features built into the X5. Again, that SD card feature is going to allow us to record our live stream as a backup, along with being able to play videos and images and logos right there incorporated into the X5 during our live stream. It does support the RTMP live streaming onto live streaming platforms. We also have a subtitle feature built right into the X5. And another cool feature which we can find within the menu settings is the PTZ camera controls. And along with that, we do also have a remote control, which again is going to allow us to scan a QR code. As far as the monitor image settings, we do have the option to adjust the brightness, the contrast, the saturation, and also be able to load our own custom 3D LUTs, which is a really nice feature. It does also support false color with a bunch of different presets. We can also access the media library tab within the menu settings, which is going to allow us to display our videos or images and logos, etc. from the SD card. So as you can see, the Magician X5 is literally loaded and jam-packed with a bunch of awesome features. So let's go ahead and actually install these two MPF batteries over here at the back of the device, so we can go ahead and power it on. Starting off with the one over here onto the left hand side, I just want to point out that there is actually a lock over here for the MPF battery for us to actually install it. So you just want to go ahead and simply slide it outwards, which is going to unlock it so you can actually install the MPF battery. Same thing over here to the right hand side. I'm just going to slide out this little tab and push in the MPF battery, and they are locked into place. So let's go ahead and flip it around, and we're going to press and hold the power button here for a few seconds so we can power it on. And we are greeted with this nice logo over here, 4K live production video switcher, and bang, now the menu is going to load up. So starting off, let's figure out how do we actually use this device just to get started. So first off, if you double tap, what's going to happen, it's going to remove that information that we have there at the top, just in case you actually want to see whatever's on the screen in full screen. If you want to bring it back, just go ahead and double tap again. Okay, so the same idea for the menu here onto the side, but instead of tapping, you actually need to either slide left or to slide right to bring it back, for an example. So even if I slide right again, it's going to either put it away or it's going to bring it back out. So here we go with the bottom menu settings over here. So same idea, instead of swiping left or right, we're actually going to slide down. So if we slide down on the screen, that menu goes away, or slide up on the screen, for an example, that menu comes back. So overall, it's really pleasant to work with. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get a little bit more familiar with my setup over here. So starting off with the X5 itself, the brains of the whole system, I am currently powering the X5 with the DC input, and I do have the two PTZ cameras over here, which are the OBSBOT tail airs, which support up to 4K 30 frames per second. And I'm actually sending the signal from these two PTZ cameras via HDMI. And those are the two HDMI inputs that I have over here at the back of the X5. So next over here at the back of the X5, the PGM HDMI output, which I'm sending over here to this external monitor. So as far as my audio setup, I do have the Comica wireless microphone receiver connected over here as an input, a microphone input to the PTZ camera. So basically the audio that's coming into my live stream is actually being sent through the HDMI input number 1, because that is the audio source from the PTZ camera, which I'm sending, and I have full control of all of my audio levels and my output for each one in my inputs. So next, let's go ahead and just jump over here to the left-hand side. You will notice that my kilobytes per second are actually around the 4,000 range, and that is actually because I'm live streaming right now to my YouTube channel at 1080p 30 frames per second, and the quality I am streaming currently right now on the low setting. So let me just go ahead and get you guys a little bit more familiar on how to actually do that. So what you're going to want to do is get your mobile phone and scan this QR code. So let's go ahead and do that. Scan the QR code, bang. So now it's going to bring you to this page on your phone, which is going to ask you the server address and the stream key. So what you want to do is go to your platform and go ahead and copy these links and paste them over here, the server address and the stream key, and then go ahead and press save. So basically you're telling the device where you want to stream. So before you go ahead and actually do this, you want to make sure that you're connected to Wi-Fi. So over here you can see to the right hand side, as we talked about earlier, I am connected to my home Wi-Fi right now. So now that I got all of that set up as far as my URL, my frames per second, and my quality, I went ahead over here and I've actually enabled the live streaming by pressing this green button right now. So this green button, the fact that it's actually moving and it's illuminated in green, it's actually telling me that I'm live streaming right now, and those are the kilobytes per second of my live stream. And if I want to go ahead and actually enable recording of my live stream, I can actually do that because I've also inserted over here an SD card. So let me just go ahead and take it out. So this is the SD card that I'm using, which is a Lexar Professional 32 gig. So I'm just going to go ahead and install it over here at the side of the X5. And now that it's installed, you can see that the X5 still does not recognize it until that X went away onto the SD card icon. So I'm just going to go ahead and select it, and it's saying how much of the gigabytes are free on the SD card and that it is formatted in the FAT format. So what I want to do to actually enable recording of my live stream, I can go ahead and press this play button, and now what's going to happen, we're going to have this timer over here onto the very top left hand side along with this little red icon, which is basically counting our recording time. So if we want to go ahead and press stop record, we just go ahead and simply stop recording right now. So this is what the audio is sounding like. Mic check 1 2 3, mic check 1 2 3. This is 1080p at 30 frames per second. I'm recording at that resolution in frame per second, and I'm also live streaming at the same time. So next what I want to do is actually go ahead and make a switch between my two different inputs, between HDMI input number 1 and HDMI input number 2. So for me to do that, I can go ahead and press this little button right there, and bang, it just made a little switch. So if I go ahead and actually press and hold this transition switch button over here, it's going to bring up a bunch of transitions that I can go ahead and select from. So right now here is a cut. I just selected cut. Let me go ahead and make a little cut transition for you. So it's a nice straight cut. We have the mix, which I was just previously using. We can adjust the softness for an example, and also the duration as well. We have a couple of wipes, different transitions from left to right, or maybe even from right to left. We do also have an up and down. We have a couple of basically like a rectangle one. So here's another switch. So you can see that all these different transitions are built in over here. So now that you guys are a little bit more familiar with that, let's go ahead and have a closer look at some of these settings over here, because they do have some additional features. So this page, as we were talking about earlier regarding the fan settings, the brightness, and also the resolution for the output and the chroma, etc. So we do also have these options over here to select these arrows to go to the next page. So if I go ahead and press it, now we have the PTZ camera. So we can go ahead and search for a PTZ camera if it's connected to the same network. And I believe if it's going to be connected to the same network and we connect to it, now we're going to be able to actually scan this QR code, which is going to probably take us to some page that's going to allow us to have control of that PTZ camera. So guys, one of the last things that I wanted to show you over here is onto the left hand side. We do have this little picture logo icon over here, which is basically like our media tab. So over here we do have some presets, for an example, like maybe some patterns or pictures or some logos, or we have some shots that we can load from our SD card, or some videos that we might have some from our SD card. So they do have some preset loaded videos right here onto the device itself. But for an example, if I press this green button over here, LO, which I believe is trying to say load from the SD card, bang, here we go. We got a bunch of videos over here that I recorded to the SD card. So what I can do is just go ahead and select one, and I can go ahead and press play, and now it's actually going to play it. And now I can go ahead and actually play this video playback during during my live stream, nice, quick, and easy. So it's really nice that we do have that option built right in here. All right, guys, so now I have the X5 connected to my PC via the UVC output at the back of the X5 with the included cable, which is the USB to USB-C cable. So here we are, just opened up OBS onto my PC, and I'm basically just screen recording this right now so I can make this video. And I also have a microphone connected as well, as you guys can see over here as my two sources. So what we want to do to actually add the X5 to OBS over here is come down to the sources tab, and we want to add a new source. So go ahead and click on this plus icon, and we're going to have a drop down of a bunch of different options that we can add as sources. But in our case, we're going to be selecting video capture device. So go ahead and select that. You can go ahead and give it a new name. I'm going to name it X5. Let's press OK. So over here into the properties tab that just automatically popped up, we want to come underneath devices and select this. And then from this drop down menu, we want to actually find USB streaming. This is what the X5 is labeled as, at least in my case. So let's go ahead and select USB streaming. So as you can see, the video source coming from the X5 is already displayed over here. So why don't we go ahead to the X5 and actually make a quick little switch over here to my other camera. So here we go, making a quick little switch, and bang, this is another view. So this is the microphone that I'm using that's just connected to my PC. I have the X5 right over here, which is being powered off the MPF batteries. Here is one of my other PTZ cameras, the ones that we were looking at earlier, and the other one that's actually taking this shot right now. So I can go ahead and toggle between these two shots by just simply pressing the transition button over here onto the X5, which is really nice. All right, guys, next I wanted to show you how to actually add the audio coming from the X5 over here onto your PC in OBS. So for us to go ahead and do that, we want to come over here underneath the sources, click the plus icon from this drop down menu, scrolling towards the top. We have audio input capture. This is what we want to select. We can go ahead and name it. So for an example, X5 audio. Let's press OK, click on OK. And underneath the properties tab, devices, we want to go ahead and look for digital audio interface USB streaming. So this is what we want to select for the X5 audio. So we just selected it. Let's go ahead and press OK. And bang, now we got two audios, and it actually probably sounds like an echo. So let me go ahead and turn down the audio coming from the X5. So guys, that is how it is done, adding the audio from the X5 and also adding the video. Well guys, it looks like we reached that time of the video to give you my overall thoughts and opinion of the X5. If you guys cannot tell already throughout the course of this video, this device is actually a real powerhouse on all the features that are available built right into here. The fact that we can live stream from here, we got that scoreboard feature as well, which is fantastic. The SD card recording, the different powering options as far as the MPF as well as the DC input. It's nice and small and compact. It's easy to use, touchscreen feature, 1800 nits. Overall, I'm very impressed to see all of these features built into the small compact device for an affordable price. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you guys have learned something along the way. If you guys do have any questions or comments, concerns, you already know, let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Till next time, peace.